don't respond, I'm mailing them once every 45 days for a year. I get calls from people who said, I got your letter a year ago, it was in my drawer, I'm ready to sell my house. But this is only being done to my targeted hot list. What is a targeted hot list? I'll give you an example. Absentee owners that have equity in their properties that's late on their mortgage. That's a targeted hot list. I will mail that person until the cows come home. You can buy this. You can buy from this brokers. Question is, how do you know they're late? I use a service. It's high end. It's called SRDS. Standard Rate and Data Service. It's the local brokerage for all of the list brokerage companies all around the nation. I can find any kind of list broker that I want using SRDS. A six-month membership with that is about $395. But it gives me the flexibility to find some really good targeted lists. Let's go further. Bankruptcy. I'm using Pacer. I love bankruptcy leads. Pacer is the service which you can use. It's the government entry point for all the different bankruptcy courts around the nation. It's free to sign up, but for every document you pull, it's 10 cents. They bill you on a quarterly basis. You would do a search in Pacer for people that have opened and closed bankruptcies and for a 2-week period. You're looking for the field, and I was going to show you guys, but that's why I didn't enter that. So I'm telling you what I'm actually doing. I'm actually leaving open the trustee field inside of Pacer, and I'm actually going to pull that list as a Excel spreadsheet. Once I get that list pulled, I'm doing my exact marketing direct mail campaign with that list.
I understand that it's a business, you're doing business, you have to have business expenses, but it sounds like you're paying for an awful lot of stuff.
That's a $240,000 a year income. Your business expenses will be based on how much you're trying to make a year. So for that number, that's what I've discovered that I'm going to be using. That's what I've learned that will generate me $240,000 a year. Like I said, you tailor this plan based on the amount of money you want to make. We just talked about marketing strategies. This whole plan breaks down what you do every day, every month, every week, and every year. If you only want to make $20,000 a year, you could tailor this plan for that. Because you would only do a couple of the marketing strategies, and you would do it in different manner. So this plan will work for anyone. Any questions about bankruptcy?
So how are you doing the search when you get on the paper? Are you looking at a zip code?
I'll tell you. What I'm doing on Pacer, Pacer allows you to choose any geographic location. Maryland, the state of Maryland, or cities in Maryland. So I can pull up the actual cities or states where I want to find people that fits my criteria. My criteria is open cases and closed cases for a 2-week period. So that's what I'm looking for. Now,
what is this 2-week period? What is that?
That's the date range.
Oh, okay.
Open cases and closed cases. Open cases and closed cases for 2 weeks. The reason why I'm doing 2 weeks because there's hundreds of them. So if you're in a smaller geographic location, you could do 3 or 4 weeks. But in Maryland, there's hundreds of these cases. And my strategy is based on these numbers that I'm going to show you that we're doing.
In Pacer, can you easily distinguish between a Chapter 7 and 13?
You're actually putting that designation. The question is, can you distinguish between Chapter 7 and Chapter 13, which is 2 different types of bankruptcy? The answer is yes, because you're actually putting that in the system. You only want cases that are Chapter 7 and 13. That's what you're going after.
What were you saying about the trustees of these adults?
Yes. I can explain that to you if I had it up on the screen, but one of the fields asks you to select a trustee or just select all. You're going to choose select all. Now, code enforcement, I love them. Code enforcement, I love them. Code enforcement, I love them. And there's a reason why. These people are in trouble, for the most part. They got issues with their properties that the actual courts is saying that you need to fix this or you're going to be fined. My way of dealing with code enforcement, you know where rent court is?
Yeah.
There's an actual courtroom for code enforcement. We actually go and sit down and hear all the cases that's being called, what the possible fines are, and we take that information down and either approach that owner at the courthouse or we do direct mail marketing to that owner. A lot of people don't know about that strategy. How many of you guys usually do that? You can do that. That's another huge strategy. We're looking for low-hanging fruit. These marketing campaigns is built around low-hanging fruit. Fruit where you know that if you pick it, it will be so juicy. But you know you will make some money. And mama will be happy. Last but not least, my favorite, internet leads. I love optimization. I love optimization. And what I mean by that, we're optimizing videos, we're optimizing press releases, we're optimizing articles, we're optimizing our websites, our squeeze pages, and so on. And what we're doing is making these items to show up on the first page of Google so that we're getting traffic each and every day, each and every month to our web properties so that we can get leads. Your business online isn't just a website. Don't just think that you should optimize your website and then that's it. You need to optimize all the different web channels, and now you can dominate the first page of Google. I have clients right now that we're working with, real estate brokerage in Toledo, Ohio, Flex Realty. He is 7 out of 10 spots on the actual Google search for his business. A local real estate investor, actually it's a RIA in Kansas City. If you do a search for Learn Real Estate Investing Kansas, that person has 10 of the 10 spots on Google for that term. Now, what does that translate to? Give you another example. One of my clients is Nolan Henson of Henson Property Management. We optimize his website for the term Property Management Baltimore. Property Management Baltimore gets over 2,400 searches a month. That's 2,400 searches a month. For a property management company, that's a potential income of $240,000 a month. Just by being on the first page of Google. Any questions about this? Because your internet is huge. Now, we talked about the marketing strategies. Now you got to have the exit strategies to execute the marketing that leads that comes in. These are my 5 primary strategies. We wholesale. We lease option with linking. We do tenant placement. We do rehabbing, and we do guaranteed rent. Wholesaling. I don't need to explain to you guys what that is, correct? Everybody knows how wholesaling is. Getting a property under contract, controlling that property, and now selling your interest in that property. The law states that having a property under contract gives you an equity position in that property. By having an equity position in a property, you can now sell that equity position, which is your wholesale fee. That's wholesaling. Lease option or linking. I love it. All I'm doing is putting the person who has a house that they can't sell with a person that wants to do a lease with that property to own, and I'm collecting the deposit. I'm not doing anything other than collecting the deposit by being a transactional engineer. Tenant placement, same concept. I don't want to manage properties, not after a heart attack. What I want to do, but I do manage properties, my own. With tenant placement, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm locating distressed property owners, not distressed properties, distressed property owners who can't rent their properties. And because of my marketing expertise, I'm finding them a tenant. And that distressed property owner is paying me on average $1,000 per tenant. Think about it. How many of those do you need if you're working full-time to make a good part-time income a month? 2 or 3? That's 3,000 clams. That's what tenant placement is. Rehabbing, you know what that is. Rehabbing is the most difficult and intricate strategy you could choose. There are so many different moving pieces. You have to buy the property at the right price. You have to control the contractors. You have to manage the actual process of the closing. You have to find a good seller, a good real estate agent. You have to. More people have been hurt rehabbing than almost any other strategy out there. It requires the most knowledge. So when you decide to choose which strategy to work, you better realize that it will require a lot of learning to get up to speed, or partnering with someone that can provide you that education as part or in trade for your partnership, like working with a contractor and so on. And last but not least, guaranteed rent. I don't know if a lot of you guys realize this, but my company really started this industry, tenant placement, about 10 years ago. We were the only ones out there marketing online for keywords for tenant placement. So we literally cornered this market, and now it's everywhere. Everyone is doing tenant placement. Now, guaranteed rent program. A lot of people don't know about this one. This one is a form of sandwich leasing, but all you're doing is finding a distressed seller or homeowner, and you're telling them, I will lease your property with the right to sublease, and I will guarantee you your rent each and every month, regardless if the property is vacant or occupied. Not only that, but I will do all the minor repairs. You would only have to cover any major repairs. Heat, electrical, roof. I'll also tell them, I will even do the make ready if my client moves out of your property. Think about this. I'm going to give that seller or that renter, the owner, his money guaranteed each and every month for the lifetime of that property. Guaranteed, no vacancies whatsoever. Here's the caveat. If the owner is trying to get, let's say $900 a month, I'm going to offer him $7 for guaranteed rent. Now that owner is going to say, oh, well, if I factor in vacancy, if I factor repairs, if I factor in that, I'm really only making $700 anyway. So I'm not losing anything. Not to mention, my property has been vacant for 3 months. That's $2,100 already I've lost. Hell yeah, I'll do that. Now, I'm taking over that $700 a month property, I'm going to get 9, 12, $1,800 a month. I'm waiting for the questions. Charles, how are you going to get $1,800 a month?
Section 8.
For a regular 3-2? I'm going to get $1,800 a month because I'm going to rent out rooms. I'm going to rent a room at $120 to $150 a week. I have a strategy where I determine a neighborhood, whether it's good for renting out rooms or whether it's good for market rate tenants. We're talking about forced appreciation. Find a weakness in find a weakness in a real estate asset and maximize that weakness to a profit. And that's what I'm doing with guaranteed rent.
How do you determine if it's good for room,
What I call my low to medium low areas, I'm doing rooms. What I call my medium high to high rental areas, I'm doing rentals.
So if you're renting out rooms, have you now turned the house into a boarding house?
Baltimore City states that any 4 residents can live in an actual residence without it being a without it being a boarding house, without it being licensed as a boarding house, as long as it's 4 unrelated residents or less. The minute you go above 4 unrelated residents, it's now considered a boarding house and it requires licensing. Your biggest issue is going to be whether or not that neighborhood likes the fact that it's a boarding house. That's why I'm doing it in low to medium low income areas. Not to mention, think about it. In a 3-bedroom house, how many people normally live in it? At least 3. Maybe if there's 2 kids, share a room or something. Or should I say maybe even 4. You're talking about a husband and wife and 2 kids. So in a rooming house where I got 4 people, how many people living in it? I still got 4 people, correct? I have not made that house into a Roach Motel. I still have the same amount of people that will be in a normal rental. Except I'm doubling my cash flow. I love real estate. Okay.
So you're not doing this just in the war zone, is that what you're perfectly saying?
Well, I'm doing it in the low to medium low income areas. Well, for me, what a war zone is an area that has less than, well, let me put it like this. I won't rent in an area that has more than 2 board ups. If a block has more than 2 board ups, I won't touch it. Because I want rental properties that's available to be that people want to rent in. A war zone I won't touch, what you would call a war zone. 75% board ups, 85% board ups. I won't even touch those. 2 board ups or less. And then one of those 2 is going to be leaving when I put a person in that property. Now, here's the other key to all of my rental strategies. I'm only looking for properties that are in the best condition. I'm not trying to come out of pocket with any repairs. The most I will come out of pocket with repairs is $2,000. That's it. Now, let's go down and drill down to your actual daily, weekly, monthly, yearly execution. Let's see, let's start with daily. To execute this strategy, remember, you could make it based on what you want to achieve. $240 a year may not be the income you want to achieve. Here's what we're working. We're doing letters. My letters each week, we're doing 6 hours needed to create my letters. 6 hours for all of my direct marketing campaigns. It requires 6 hours a week time. For my banded signs, it requires 4 hours a week. For my Craigslist postings and replies, we're executing that at 3 hours a week. For my courthouse to achieve my probate, my code enforcement, and my bankruptcy, that requires 6 hours worth of time a week. For my driving for dollars, I'm spending 3 hours worth of time a week on that. For my negotiations and closings, I allocate 7 hours a time, 7 hours a week for that. Now, this is the most important part for me. This is why this one has the most hours allocated. I will do everything when it comes to negotiating and closing. That's all I do in my business. Negotiate and close. My VAs do all the rest. All I do is negotiate and close. Here's something you need to learn. You as an investor, you need to concentrate on the one thing or things that will make the most money in your business. And for me, it's executing a marketing plan and negotiating. Those are the two most profitable sides of my business. And that's what I'm concentrating on. Admin and miscellaneous hours, 3 hours a week. And last but not least, online, website, and squeeze page marketing, 6 hours a week. This is a 40-hour-a-week plan. If you don't have 40 hours, and you're only doing this for 20 hours, expect the results of half to $240,000 a year. You're talking about $120,000 income. So it does not have to mean that you need to work a full-time job of 40 hours and do your real estate for 40 hours. Base it on what you have available, and it's built around that structure. Now, every day, I'm allocating this amount of time to execute this marketing. Every week, this better be my results of what I've done.
$12, you see the high grass, you see the go back, go to SNAP, go back, and say the other level, it's giving you the same address.
Right.
For the owner. What's the alternative?
The question is, when you're driving around and you're trying to find properties, you're looking and you're knocking on the door and you can't find that owner because every indication says that the person still lives there, but you know the house is vacant because the windows are broken. The grass is like you would not believe. Look like the Serengeti Plains in Africa. So you're trying to figure out what's going on with this property. I do two main things. One of them I use a free search called Pitbull, P-I-P-L. The other one is a paid search called Private Eye, privateeye.com. And last but not least, if that doesn't work, I'm hiring a skip tracer.
What?
A skip tracer. A skip tracer is nothing more than a detective that will go out and try to find that person for you. Normal cost for skip tracers, I'm paying between $35 and $65 per trace. So if you spend $65 to find a person that has a vacant house that you can make $25,000, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Skip tracers is my last resort.
Where do you find
www.google, tell me where to find skip tracers. I'm just saying, just do a search online for skip tracers. You can do a search on Google for skip tracers, and you'll find 100 of them, at least.